Hi, everyone. Welcome to Accidental Experts.
I'm Tay.
And I'm Dani. And we're currently sitting in a car right now in LA.
We're just traveling around and visiting some of our favorite artists and getting an insight into where they create their art.
Which is honestly a dream come true
It's
and
so cool.
inspiring. And I hope you guys really enjoy this new podcast we've created for you all. And actually, so we're sitting outside of the person we just hung out with. I don't want to say her name yet, but she is amazing. She's an inspiring artist and
Extremely unique and original art. It is very surreal and I would say disturbing to some.
it provokes kind of like a discomfort
Oh yeah,
feeling
it's like human
because
eyeballs,
it's so surreal.
eyelashes.
It's so surreal, but it's also so different and something you don't. I feel like if you've never seen her art, you've just never seen anything like that before, you know?
She is extremely original.
So her name is Kelley. She has been an artist for quite some time now. You guys may know her as Beans of John, which actually Tay was a huge fan before this, and this is why we're here. Tay actually introduced Beans of John to me, and I just think it's so cool. So yeah, let's go talk to her.
There is one piece of art in here that I am familiar with specifically because it's mine. And it's something
Which is so random. I walked in here, I'm like, what do you mean?
It's so funny. Like in the corner is one of my very first DIY projects. And I guess funny story, I do giveaways of my projects when I'm just ready to clear out more space to create more art. And I did a mass giveaway, I think like for my 1 millionth follower or something. And Kelley was one of the winners. And Kelley, I think you chose that one. I had some options.
Yeah. I needed something. I'm very into reflective surfaces. So anything mirrored or sparkly, like I need it in my life, especially in a space where it reflects. And well, it was a journey to get it here, but I think it was like when I first I think I was when I first kind of started TikTok, which I still haven't totally figured out quite
It's
yet.
impossible to figure
It's
out.
a crazy app.
I feel like I'm just like past the age threshold where it's
To
like
understand.
beyond my mind. I'm like trying really hard. But I don't remember how I found you, but I was like obsessed with everything.
I'm
and
so
I was,
glad
like,
you found me
geeking
and
out.
I knew you
Yeah.
on Instagram. Like, yeah, we are parasocial
And-
internet friends.
And I'd never won anything in my life. I was so excited.
Yeah,
This is the best day of my life.
I always wonder, like, who wins the giveaways?
Yeah, I think
Me.
you could have. There were like a bunch of little DIY options you could have chosen from, and you ended up choosing my disco tiles skateboard.
Mm.
And so you lived in LA. I live in San Francisco. I was like, how am I going to ship this to LA? I looked it up. It was going to cost like $100. I was like, that's not worth. Like, it's. I'm giving it away for free. Like, ugh. So you were so cool about it. You let me just hold on to it until I eventually flew down to LA. And didn't I forget to bring it one time?
Maybe, or maybe I was gone.
Yeah,
or
we kept missing
something.
each
Yeah,
other.
Yeah.
And eventually I flew it down to LA, brought it as my carry-on, and then dropped it off at my friend's art studio. And he and Kelley arranged to meet up and they did the handoff. So we never met in person.
I know. And that was also a process too, because I think me and your friend are both the same kind of people where we're like very forgetful. We're like, oh yeah, let's meet at this time. Like I'll text you tomorrow, and then we'll like forget about
Yeah.
it, and then it was like this whole thing back and forth. But then finally
I
it
can't believe
happened.
It
Yeah.
happened.
So this is like a full circle moment. I had no
It's
idea this
wild.
happened, guys. Like this is the first time I'm hearing the story too.
It's crazy that it's here. I can't believe I haven't
love
seen
that.
it in
And
a
now
year.
here we are.
I know.
Whoa,
In your art
whoa.
studio. So I mean, now that we're in your art studio and like talking to you, I just would love to know about you and your art and like how you got started in this.
Wow.
I know it's a big question.
I know
Such a
it's like a
question.
very broad and
But we
general.
want to know, like, how did you end up making, I guess, for an example of one thing you do, eyeball art with real human hair pieces?
I think to like answer very broadly, like the genesis of anything, it comes from like collection of things, right? So I just like collect a lot of stuff and make stuff with the things that I collect. So that's basically how that happened. But I mean, I know that's not like very specific of an answer. I can answer more specifically, but I think like a lot of artists do that. I think you find things that, intrigue you or you find beautiful or you look at and you're like, oh, maybe I can use that for something someday and you store it away. I've been trying to be better about this because like you only have so much space to collect so many piles of hair, uh, which I do. I have a drawer of hair in
Oh, I
here,
want to see the drawer.
which you
I
can
want to
see
see
a
the
drawer. And I
drawer.
just got a new hair delivery from someone. It's very beautiful.
It's
You can see it. It's
blue.
blue. It's such a good one.
Oh my God, that looks
So
like Tay's old
excited.
hair.
Yes. Okay.
So
We
if you ever want to
definitely want to
donate, let me
know. Yeah,
know.
the process of how you acquire your hair. We want to know the whole process later.
So it all started with you met Ian,
hmm
my partner. He had very long hair when we met, and he cut his ponytail off. And I was like, you can't just throw that away. Like,
Precious.
it's useful. It's useful. So
I mean, yeah.
I had his ponytail in a box for years, And then, like, when I started making things with eyes, I was like, I've never liked I just didn't like the look of like putting on a fake eyelash. So I was like, what can I use for hair? And I was like, well, I have a whole box of hair. So that's how that started.
Oh my God.
And
So
I
a piece
also
of Ian
uh,
is in your
a
art.
lot of pieces.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
And I also
Beautiful.
I kind of have this like weird, maybe this is kind of, I don't know if this is yucky or not, but I love the idea. I don't know if you feel this like when you travel places, when you're like your hair falls out. I mean, just randomly, like a little pieces here and there. It's like funny leaving your DNA all over the world. Like little pieces of you are
Like
floating
you were
around.
there.
And
You're
I kind
shedding
of, yeah, I love
bits.
that idea. Like you get to send out your
Your-
pieces in artwork. It's funny. It's kind of a nice sentiment.
That is funny.
Right. Unless you did something bad and people then have your DNA, which is maybe not good, but I'm not. I'm
Trying to
good.
cover
I'm
up
good.
on-
I'm good.
I swear, don't look into my DNA.
That's actually really funny you say leaving your DNA all over the world because I've never thought about that. Like that's a crazy perspective and I really love it.
Yeah,
I love that
I
idea.
feel like maybe the majority of people don't think that, which is why it's very cool that you do.
I don't know. I think about it all the time, actually, and even like locally.
Anywhere.
Store.
Yeah, grocery store. A little piece of me at Vaughn's,
In our rental car
Yeah.
that we rented right now.
Yeah.
Locally.
Yeah.
You think, what do they say? Think small, think global.
Act local.
I don't
Act
know.
local,
Think
global.
global. Yeah.
You're doing both.
Yeah, and then it's like you get to spend time with all these other people that leave all
They're
their
on the-
theirs. Yeah, it's nice. We're all connected,
We're all connected.
in some way. So
That's so beautiful.
yeah.
So, Kelley, for the like for the listener right now, I just kind of want to, set the scene and kind of describe your art for those who haven't seen your art before. What is your style or what type of art do you create?
I mean, that's like it's a hard question to answer
It
because
is,
it's like
because
asking
yeah,
an
it's
artist
very-
to like also, and then I'm like, well, what do people consider art? Because I know a lot of people probably wouldn't consider my art.
Absolutely
people
not.
would.
How dare they?
I don't
How
know.
dare they?
No. Like this everyone needs to see your art because it's indescribable.
I don't know if this is like a human mindset thing. The scale that I work on is very small also, which I think is hard for people to wrap their mind around when they think about artwork. Because a lot of times we think about like grandeur, when you think about art. So you're thinking about these big, things that people are creating. And all mine are like, for me, it's like, I need to master the smaller, the better. And like, I get obsessed over it, so it's
looks
all
so
very
intricate,
small.
detail oriented.
It's I've had to have some physical therapy, but it's okay. It'll work on a very small
God.
scale.
Yeah, it's like a finger workout. I mean,
yeah.
I honestly, from stalking you, obviously I stalked you and I saw your work. It's absolutely amazing. And now seeing it on your desk, it's so much tinier than I imagined.
Yeah, it's small. So
On your pictures, it looks huge.
I know. Well, and that's a hard thing about social media too. It's like because pictures don't fully capture
Yeah.
everything and people don't understand scale and it's really it's tricky. So I mean, I guess that's the one, even though it's like very exhausting making videos, at least it's giving people some like insight into like how things are made and giving people some scale perspective as well into what they're actually seeing, which I think helps a lot. But it kind of like all started because I really wanted to, when I started making like little sculptures, I really wanted to create kind of a portfolio because I'm very interested in stop motion animation. So I wanted to create kind of like a portfolio of characters or type of things to maybe get into that. But then just this kind of took its own path.
I mean, you could incorporate it
I
within your videos.
I could.
That would be
Not-
very cool.
I'm not closed to the idea. But yeah, I don't know. Sometimes you find a
Now we're
new
gonna
path
force you to
and
make it.
yeah.
to make a stop motion video and post it on your TikTok.
Yeah. But
Okay.
like what you mentioned of like it's exhausting to also be taking video. Like you're doing your art, but now you are creating content around it. And
Yeah.
there's like that trend of small businesses or artists using the audio where it's like, oh, I'm an artist, and that means now I'm a content creator because I have to promote my art for anyone to know it exists.
Yeah.
And it's just an entire second job that you have to do. You have to be a video like a camera operator, a video editor. You have to know how to create a good video that will make people watch and do quick storytelling. Like,
Hard.
Well, not only
It's so
that, it
hard.
delays the process so
Yeah,
much.
I think it also don't get me wrong, I'm so grateful that I'm able to reach a wider audience because of it, and I'm so grateful that people are even interested in my artwork, but it's hard because then you do feel like you need to be making something that people will like, which that's not always what art's about either. It's about, making what you feel. So I think it's like finding a balance, right? Like I I don't know. I've been trying to work more on focusing on being able to make things that are sorry, I didn't really frame it right. I think what I mean is people aren't always used to seeing something new from an artist that they admire. They like what they already see, so that's what they're
Yeah.
expecting. So then when they see something new, it's kind of hard to take in. But, as creatives, you guys know you want to try new things sometimes. So it's trying to find that balance
Oh,
of
but that's a
trying new
trap of-
things and
you're stuck in a
it-
niche.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
they followed
So-
you for that reason, and if they see something outside of that reason, it's like I'm not following you for this. I don't
Yeah,
want to see this.
yeah. So it's tricky in that way, but I'm still overall very grateful, and I'm still happy with what I'm making. So then that's all that matters.
I mean,
you know.
you should be. I feel like your art is one of the most unique art
Yes.
I've ever seen. Genuinely.
Original.
I would not say that. Like it's seriously something I've never seen before, and I feel like as an artist, as creatives ourselves, like that's so inspiring because I feel like now we live like in a time where like everything has sort of been invented, like everyone's kind of like there's multiple people doing kind of the same thing, and I have not seen anyone do anything like you
It's
do.
so cool.
So I think it's so inspiring, honestly. Like
Oh,
I feel like you
thanks.
found your style and you are killing it.
Thanks.
It's beautiful.
Thanks.
But
I
we
really
don't want to box you into that niche. You
no,
do whatever you
but
want.
I like it too. I mean, I do feel like, and it's and I'm sure maybe that you both experience this too. Is like even when you do try something new, right? You for some reason like your skill set still has like a particular aesthetic that you can't like get outside of. Like for some reason, all my things kind of look the same, even if I'm trying something new. I mean, I maybe that's more apparent for people who are like painters or drawers or something. You have like a particular style, and I find that in my work too. It's like even if I'm trying to do something totally different, I'm like, oh, I want to do something, that looks outside of what I'm doing. Then I'm like, oh, it just looks like Beans of John.
I mean, it's
Can't
your
get past
style.
it.
It's
yeah,
you.
it's just like this kind of marriage of, but it's the things that I'm interested in and that inspire me. I love nature and things from nature, and I love human bodies.
I mean,
And
yeah, you
body
like
parts.
you
love
like
parts.
incorporating life into your art, which is
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah,
How do you source? You said you love nature. Are you and you use a lot of shells.
yeah.
Do you source them yourselves if you go out on beach walks?
No, I try to be very careful about that because the shell trade is very ultimately not a great thing for sustainability.
That's so interesting.
So I get a lot of my shells from estate sales. So I try to get like a lot of thrift shells, so things that have already been out on, have been purchased
not
before.
from like the
yeah,
beaches
yeah.
and stuff.
Wait, can you
Um,
educate? Because I mean, I'm from Hawaii, and I didn't know that shells. It's not sustainable to take shells from the beach.
There's very well, I have a good podcast for you to listen to about it if
About
you'd like to.
sustainable shell?
Yeah, there's actually I don't know if have you ever heard of the podcast Ologies?
No.
So it's this woman. She's great. She interviews scientists. And she had a scientist on who now I love. He's a biomineralogist, and he studies the hard parts of life. So part of that is like shells, right, and teeth. So obviously,
Oh, you would love
I
that.
love him. And he talks about, kind of the science behind that and like why it's important to leave shells as much as you can. Because basically they're turning into sand, right? And so if you're taking those things away, then, beaches get degraded, and, other animals use shells on the beach for homes. Barnacles
Yeah.
get attached to them, and so there's living barnacles in them. So just be mindful of it. So I try to be very careful. I use a lot of shells from food waste too. So like
Oh.
actually eating the food and then using the shell. So I'm like the person who, if I'm
Go to a restaurant, you're taking home a napkin full of
yeah, I
stuff.
just like if we get like mussels, I'll just wrap them up in the napkin and put it in my purse. And the waiter comes gets the food. He's like,
all
like,
gone.
where did the shells go?
Yeah,
Like, it's
I
fine, don't worry about
remember
it.
growing up to beaches, and my parents would yell at us if we brought home a shell. So I thought it was like a
What?
known thing. Like it's
How
like
am I
literally
from Hawaii?
in my mind, it's like illegal to take a shell from a beach. And actually, when I go to the beach, because I live in Miami and there's obviously beaches,
Yeah.
and Bella will like grab shells and be like, "Oh my god, like let's take them home." I'm like, "No, I can't. It's illegal.
My
It's
mom will
illegal."
yell at me.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's a lot of mixed opinions about it. I just try to be, I mean, I love animals, so I just try to be really careful about it. I also get a lot of donations from like stores that had shells, and then they're not selling them anymore or something. And funny enough, I used to part of my job, I used to like manage this nature exhibit type thing, and they had a shell collection, and they were getting rid of a ton of stuff and just gave gave me a bunch of shells.
Wait, well, now
So a
that
lot of
you
shells.
mentioned the exhibition, was that the museum you worked at where you
No,
created replicas?
I volunteer at the Natural History Museum here, where I help make replica plants for the taxidermy department. So
That
that's
is
separate.
so
Yeah.
interesting.
Replica plants. Is it made out of clay, or how do you make
Um,
replica plants?
There's a lot of different ways, and
Yeah.
it's changed over the years. And that was part of my kind of like wanting to get into learning how to do model making, and I'm just like interested in all the little things,
Yeah.
I'm a tinkerer. But I started working as a volunteer there. Well, I've I was a docent in education for a long time at the Natural History Museum, and then I started working in the exhibits team as a volunteer with the taxidermist there, because I really wanted to learn how to make plants. But now, kind of the process is you go out in nature and you take plasters of leaves and things. So you
Oh.
take prints, and then you use vacuum form sheets to make the plants and cut them out and hand paint them all.
That is so
Because
interesting.
a lot of people go to the museums and they look in these beautiful dioramas, and they're like, oh, there's plants in there, but nobody thinks about the fact that they can't be alive
I've
because they'd
never
be
thought of
dead.
that.
They'd be brown and shriveled up. So it's like each leaf is made by a human,
A human like
Right.
you.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and I never knew that was even a job or a career path or
Yeah.
anything that anyone.
I mean-
We're like starting to realize that there's so many things people create, which obviously you're aware that someone created it, but you
But
don't
you
really
don't
think
think
of the
about it.
person who actually created it.
Did you ever even realize, like, looking at, a diorama in a natural history or any museum, when I see those plants in there, I have never thought about the fact that they're
Well,
not real.
I generally thought maybe like a machine made them, but the fact that people are making them is like so much cooler.
I
Little
think there
humans.
are places that do machine work too, but they don't look
They don't look the same.
They don't
at
look the
all.
same.
Never. The machines can't
That's
keep
my
up.
opinion.
Amazing. So we're going to head out to break and we'll be right back with Kelley. Hey everyone, I hope you guys have been enjoying this amazing episode with Kelley, Beans of John, and
Why'd you say it like that? Beans of John.
Beans of John, because I want people to know
It's Beans
Kelley
of
for
John.
Beans of John, because I don't know, that's her artist name, just like your name is Tay Beep
Do you
Boop.
say I'm here with Tay Beep Boop?
Tay boop. Stick around for the end. We're going to be doing a little Q&A. We have some fun questions you guys all asked us. And if you have some questions right now, you can go to our website.
Yeah, submit some more and we might answer yours at accidentalexperts.com.
Yeah, ask away. Literally anything. Personal, about our careers, about...
Ask about Dani's big toe. I'm serious.
Absolutely
Ask
not.
about it. Everyone needs to know. Now we're back, and Kelley, you mentioned that you went to art school, and a thing that we like to do in our series is basically get to the bottom of how people got here, and was there a formative experience that got you to doing the medium that you're doing, and what led you here exactly? And
well, not what led you, but what... So did you go to school, and if so, was it for art?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Mysterious.
So yes and no. I went to school. I went to school at UW-Madison, so a big like research university. And I actually was going to major in math and or chemistry. When I started, I was
So different.
very different, very different. I love math. I was a mathlete in high school. And for me, in my mind, I'm from a pretty small town, and for me, even being an artist wasn't a thing that I didn't feel like was in the realm of possibility. Um, but I think like when I went to school, for me, school was like, I don't know. I don't know when in my mind I was like, oh, I'm just gonna study art. I always had been interested in art and had a talent for it, but I think I just really wanted something. I mean, even all my friends that I made in art school, it's like the first time I like really was made fun of. But, but
I
not-
totally feel that.
Yeah, but not like in a bad. I think it was good for me. It was like a good thing ultimately.
Formative.
Yeah, exactly. Like it felt really uncomfortable, and I think that's like really what I needed.
Yeah.
And because I had been taking like some art classes, and I really liked kind of having that challenge of being really uncomfortable.
Were
And
you like the weird art student?
no, I was kind of like I was very like in high school. I love sports. I was like a total sport
Oh my god.
mathlete.
That's so
yeah,
crazy.
like I was like a very and I was like very academic. I was like I don't know. I wasn't, and I was
You
pretty
weren't.
outgoing,
Oh
and
my god.
so I think they were making fun of me because I was like the opposite of maybe what people stereotypically would think of like an art school student. Like why are you here?
Oh, okay. I was like the weird art student. All my friends were like, "Oh my god, she goes to a weird art school. She's a weird kid."
But it was I think that was good for me. And
Yeah.
it challenged me in new ways to think about things differently. So I decided I was just gonna study art. And I didn't have a plan for it. In my mind, I knew that when school was over, I didn't think like, oh, because I studied printmaking and bookmaking and like letterpress, and I was like, I'm not. It's not
so
like
specific.
It's very specific. Yeah, it wasn't like, oh, like I'm gonna
Letterpress.
have a career in making art books. Like I knew that wasn't maybe going to be my path. I didn't know what that looked like, and
Yeah.
I think that's okay. And it looked many different ways. Moving forward after I went to school, I always did art, but I've worked in a lot of other fields as well. And I kind of I don't know. Should I continue on with this question into how it happened?
Well,
into
I was gonna
now?
ask.
Should I continue talking?
I was gonna ask. So obviously, I feel like we've all been there. Like you're exploring and experimenting a bunch
Yeah.
of different things to try to find your own thing. And so, how long do you think it took you from you being in art school and all of that to doing what you do now, like finding your style and selling your art online and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, it took a long time. What year is it? It's 2023. Graduated from college in 2010. Well, it's been a long time. But I think, and this is like an issue I have with art as well. Is I only really was able to start kind of like making a lot of things and kind of investing more into my artwork until I was like really kind of settled down somewhere a little bit and had more space. But it's hard to afford to do that
Yeah.
nowadays. Like when you're young and out of college, like I didn't know where I wanted to live or what I had to what I wanted to do. I didn't have enough money for a studio or to buy tons of supplies or to move those things around from place to place either. So it's hard because to be an artist, if you're making kind of like these physical sculptures or like you're a painter, you need a lot of supplies.
Oh, there's a
It's
massive
just like,
barrier,
yeah,
financial barrier between people who
totally.
can pursue creative fields and
Yeah.
art. Like, I live in San Francisco. No one has space to have a studio or an extra bedroom to be
Yeah.
their office art space. And so it takes money and physical space and then supplies. Like, a lot of people aren't lucky enough to have those things.
Yeah, totally.
But it's also possible for people who don't have money to find a way to achieve it as well. But it's just obviously so much harder.
Yeah. And I think that's, was like a huge part of it. And, Beans of John has just grown from me continuing to kind of reinvest in myself from, what I'm making from my artwork, which is kind of cool to see it
Yeah,
grow really. It's slow growing, but it's nice and it's fun and it's like you can really kind of see your progress, in your own
definitely.
space, which is cool. But it's taken a long time, and I think it's taken a long time, and I always want to like improve myself and improve my skills, and so now I look at like work when I first started Beans of John, and I'm like, oh, I can't even look
I
at
mean,
it.
that's everyone, right? Like, I feel like
It's a
if
sign of
we,
growth,
yeah,
too.
it's a sign of growth. And
Yeah.
like, just going back to like Tay's my videos, like back in the day, you just like don't want to watch them. You're just like, please take that away.
yeah,
Like, that
I'm
is so
much,
cringe.
My work is so much better now, but it's
Yeah.
good because that means
It is good.
we're better.
Because, yeah, as a creative, I feel like in an industry, you always have to be constantly changing and growing, which is actually what we were talking
were
about
at lunch,
eating a burrito
literally.
like an hour ago. I feel like nowadays you just have to be constantly growing to
Yeah.
be successful, and to like keep being a successful artist.
Makes it fun too, a
it
little
does.
bit. Yeah,
not
Yeah.
stale.
yeah, exactly.
I mentioned to you earlier that my partner is a massive fan of yours as well,
Ah.
and my partner makes really I would say your art is very surreal, and I think it's a blend of like taxidermy and surreal, lifelike, whimsical creations. It's a lot
Yeah.
of things. And my partner's is similar. It's taxidermy-esque as well. Um, but when we first started dating years ago, like when I think about his art, then compared to now, he's just developed so much more. And not to say when I started dating him, I was like, your art's bad. I was obsessed with his art when we started
Yeah.
dating. But it's so awesome to see that like there's so much growth that can happen in art, even when you thought that you were at your pinnacle
Yeah.
back then.
I'm
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah.
I guess another question would be, for example, I was also mentioning I wanted to be a fine art, like I wanted to be in fine arts and like actually live off of my paintings and stuff. And I wasn't doing it. I was like 15 in high school trying to sell my
I was
paintings.
doing it.
You
I mean,
were
not-
doing
I
it.
was doing it, but like not really.
I was surviving off of my.
But in that moment when you're becoming a creative, I feel like we never really do figure it out. And I
We're
think
all
that's
actively figuring it out.
I feel
Yeah.
like no one ever really figures it out, but I think that's the amazing part of it. But my question is, how do you price your art? How do you know like what it's worth? What would you recommend to the people listening who want to be artists and creatives? I know it's a tricky question, but what would you recommend when people are like trying to find how to charge for their art?
It's so hard. It's
That
such a
is-
hard question.
I wouldn't know how to answer that. If you asked me that, I would not know how.
I think maybe I'm going to answer, but maybe I'm not practicing my best answer either. And I can work on that. But really, I think that, as artists, you need to value yourself and value your time. And I think sometimes you get lost. By I think sometimes I get lost also. I'm just going to take ownership in this. In that, like, I get hung up on, but no one will buy it if it's not this price, right?
Yeah, like if it's too expensive, I'm not
Yeah.
going to have any sales.
But I think at the end of the day, you also have to look at it from like logistically, right? Like I'm spending all this time and not only have I spent time physically making these things, I've spent years and years and years learning how to get it to this point. I've spent, years buying material. It's just like it's a huge investment of time and money. So I
It's
mean,
your knowledge,
yeah,
too.
it's knowledge and it's it's a lot of different things. So I think you kind of have to look at it more, holistically like that too when you value your artwork. But, I think, I could be better at that. Sometimes I feel like I'm not valuing myself enough, but I also am hung up on this idea too. I'm not hung up because I believe this, that people should be able to afford art too. Like I want art to be accessible to people.
But then artists should have a living wage, and yeah, it's
I
so
know. I
tricky.
wish that there were like more channels of revenue that we could,
Yeah.
access or something. But also, I mean, I'm sure that there are, but I don't know if I'm interested in them. I'm interested in making art. So,
So,
um,
what is the cheapest and not cheapest, like most inexpensive and affordable, and then your highest piece you've ever sold?
Um, I have a pretty wide range because, like I
Mhm.
said, I want things to be affordable. Sometimes I make like really little, tiny, teeny things that I sell for like $50, but
Yeah.
affordable.
And that would be
Um,
because you spent less time, but it's
less,
still your art piece and like you
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And then I'm trying to think of I don't know, my
Or
most
like whatever comes to mind. It doesn't have to be like the most.
few thousand.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love for it to be more.
10,000.
It
Yeah.
will.
I want
It
it to be
will get to
10,000.
that.
But I think that there is like a mentality of still like I talked about earlier, people have this idea of like size in mind and size relating to value, which is
Absolutely not. No. No, like your art is insane. That's like something you would see in a museum. Like
Oh, 100% museum.
it's worth so
Like
much.
specifically a piece that you do with eggs. So
mm,
like they're all standard egg sizes, egg sized.
yeah. There's like quail egg, chicken egg, goose egg size.
And so when you do say just chicken egg
Mm.
piece where you have a classic beans of John eyeball and eyelashes and an amazing egg, and somehow these things all work together. Like how many hours of work does that take you? And then what would you sell that for?
Um, I still like everyone's like everyone always asks me the question of like how long does it take me to make something, and I still haven't like done the thing where I sit and make a piece from like start to
Yeah,
finish
because
and
you're
like
doing like
time
10
because
Yeah,
I
things
you're
at
do
once.
like
doing
I'll do like a bunch of things because like with my eggs they all get hand painted too, so it's like I'll paint all the eggs I'm doing at once, and then I'll do all the sculpting on them, and then I'll do all the eyelashes on them. So I don't know, but
Yeah.
I will say that each hair is individually put on, which is very time consuming, but therapeutic in some way, or
Yeah.
meditative, I guess is a better word for it. I just kind of zone out, listen to podcasts, and put on hairs. Um,
Just put on hairs.
but depending on the piece, and then some, I cover some eggs in crystals, which takes forever. So that's probably priced a little more. But like my painted eggs, like usually between like 400 and 600
Yeah.
ish.
and totally worth
Ish.
it.
I would feel like for it's so much time and detail in it could be higher. This is my opinion, but
I think some other people would share your opinion too. But again,
yeah,
I don't know.
you're
Maybe
balancing
I'll
the
get there.
fear.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. There's a lot of fear in it too. I think I wanna I wanna maintain this too. So
Yeah. I feel like as an artist too, there's always a point where you're like, I should be charging more, but you're so scared that you'll lose that client or like,
Yeah.
totally.
or like you won't sell your art. So then you can't, pay for your life, which I think really happens also to Tay and I. Like, I feel like most people would probably see us on our social medias and be like, they're so professional. They're probably making so much money.
From other people's perspectives, when you see people on social media, it's like, oh my gosh, they have their
Mhm.
life together.
Yeah.
Like it's so great. And I'm like, well, what? Like,
Yeah.
no, like I'm just figuring it out too.
Yeah,
As
and
we
so we're also
are.
figuring it
Yeah.
out, and we're like, we should be charging more. Like this is so time consuming. It's like a lot of work. It's like an art, and
Yeah,
for you
totally.
too, for every creative out there listening, like you are worth so much more.
God, we're all charging too little. Yeah, my partner struggles with the exact same thing where it's like I watch him. I feel like this is how your partner probably feels of watching you painstakingly work over these projects. And I know how much effort goes into each piece. And I'm like, my God, these things should be thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
But then if you charge thousands of dollars, then who can afford that?
Yeah.
You know?
You don't want to lose access to some people. I don't know. But yeah, no, it's the same sentiment, And it's like he's like, you're the hardest working person I know,
Oh.
and I mean, I I feel like, and I'm sure you feel this way too, as being a creative, you're constantly working all the
Yeah.
time. Like
Yeah.
I'm never not working. And my workspace is also very close to my home space, so it makes the blend even
Yeah,
it's
so you
just
really are
yeah.
there. Yeah, you're never just at home chilling
Fog.
Yeah,
ever.
no, there's always something to do. There's always
Mhm.
more,
Yeah.
And I'm quite a busybody, so I it's not that I don't. I love working on things, and I feel grateful that I still am excited about it, and I'm constantly working. But I do think that I could have more of a work-life balance.
So, when I was stalking your page, I saw one of your artworks, which actually is in your house, and I just saw it in person, which is the starfish with the fingernails. Well, yeah, like the acrylic nails. I don't know if they're like fingernails and stuff.
Yeah, are they?
Are they
They're
real? Like,
acrylic.
talk to
Are
me
they
about the
nails?
starfish. I am obsessed with the starfish. Do you make the starfish? Like, how does that work?
It's a starfish. I got a donation of a bunch of starfish.
Okay.
Which if anyone knows anything about starfish, their leftovers that they leave behind are very stinky. So they're super stinky. They
Mm-hmm.
like smell terrible. I'll let you guys smell one
What?
before you leave.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, do you have a starfish?
I have starfish.
She has
I have
a stinky
starfish you
one
can
we can
smell.
smell.
They're all stinky,
Stinky
and they
starfish.
maintain their stinkiness for some reason. So when you drill into them or anything, it's like a whole smell.
That's why you have
my
this gas
goodness.
mask.
Yeah. I've been a lot better about that. And before I moved into this space, I actually was working in my home. And when I made my first starfish, I was working inside like our tiny apartment, drilling the starfish. It smelled so bad. This was like at the very beginning of COVID, like the pandemic, and my boyfriend was like, "This is
Trapped inside with
yeah,
that
trapped to
smell.
smell." It's bad. But now it's like I have some nice outdoor space for drilling and whatnot.
I had
So
no idea that drilling into a starfish would basically be like a chemical warfare in your nose.
stinks.
Okay, wait. So yes, you drill into the starfish, and then you're using acrylic nails
Acrylic nails, but you have to sculpt the nail beds
to fit
too.
into.
Yeah, to fit too. And I
Yeah, because it
do
looks
painting
so perfectly
underneath
on it.
it. Yeah, you have to gotta make them right.
You're
I'm
like a
a
nail artist.
I'm a nail artist.
You like
I'm an
everything.
eyelash artist.
Yes.
I should.
You're an
Well,
esthetician,
yeah,
basically.
yeah.
I
And-
mean, yeah, you're
and
literally
a dentist.
Yeah, you're working with
Oh.
teeth. Like, no, and
Wait.
seriously, everything is so perfect.
I know what you should add. You know how it's like a trend now to do teeth bling art?
Oh yeah, no, I have done like the jewels
Oh,
On
okay.
on the teeth on your
on the
art.
teeth.
I
Yeah,
So then
love
you're
that.
also
Uh,
that
I'm
as
a-
well.
I'm
a
that,
bling
yeah.
artist.
A gem,
tooth
a
bling-
tooth gem artist.
Yes. Yeah.
I made this one that had like a little I made a sterling silver tooth that had little rhinestones in it. It was a
Yeah.
fun project.
So
Yeah.
about selling your art, how does it work? Do you do drops or do you normally just upload one-on-ones? How does that work?
Oh, yeah. I guess drops. They become like a little stressful. So I don't know the best way to do it. I feel like I'm failing when I do it because I don't know. I'm still like I try to let people know, but I
Yeah.
also I don't know how to reach people sometimes, and then it gets weird, and then people get frustrated, and
Oh.
I don't know. I'm just
Social
doing my
media.
best, but it's mostly like kind of drops, right? And sometimes they're more planned than other times. But I can't make that many things. It takes me
Yeah.
a long time to make things, so it's like I only have a handful of pieces every few months. I wish I could make more, but
Well,
I just physically can't.
this might be helpful. This is what my partner has ended up doing. They tried a website for drops, and then I think websites take a big chunk. And so what they've done, depending on how many items you have, just put it on your Instagram story, make a highlight reel, and then keep all your available items just in that highlight reel of like available art. And the
Yeah.
price is in there, and they can DM you and pay for it and ship it. Like that might be an easy solution, like the easiest solution, but depends how much
Yeah.
product you have.
I mean, like when I put things on my website like as a drop. It's like 10 pieces or less. But the thing for me about that's nice about having a website is I'm a little disorganized and things on my computer, so it's nice to like have like all the things.
Oh yeah,
in
if you're
one
dealing with DMs,
spot.
like
Yeah,
random DMs. Oh, chaos.
I feel so bad. I'm so bad at DMs, and then
Yeah,
I
and, like,
and then
keeping
I
track.
see, and I'm like, and I don't respond. I'm like, oh, I'll respond later, and then I'm so
Yeah.
forgetful, and then I don't want people to think I'm mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I don't know. I worry about
That's
that
so
a little
fair.
bit.
Yeah.
Like, I need a little tool to help me, streamline things a little bit.
Yeah.
Keep you on track.
Yeah, exactly. But that's kind of my best solution so far. I think it's tough reaching people ultimately to tell them, this is what's happening, or because I also don't really like email. I don't like
Oh,
I don't like writing the emails.
Newsletters and
Yeah, it's not fun.
I'm like I don't know, and they all my emails go to people's spam. I hear, so I don't know what to do.
Okay, you know what? You're on the show. Now people like our audience will know
Check
about
your
you.
spam.
And check your spam from Beans of John. No, but yeah, this is great because people they can know where to find you. Like right now, like
Yeah.
what's the best place to like get in touch with you or see your
DM.
work?
No,
Yeah,
just
DM her. She will not respond.
I mean, I like when people email me because then it's there and I know I need to respond to it.
Where
That's
can they
probably
find
the
your
best.
email? On your Instagram website?
On my I think it's on my Instagram. Oh my
Instagram,
gosh,
and
it's
we're
on my
gonna put it-
website. It's on my
okay.
website. It's on my
So
website.
Instagram
Which
is
is
Beans of John.
Instagram is Beans of John. Website is beansofjohn.com.
Okay.
Email is beansofjohn at
At
Gmail.
Gmail?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all one
Amazing.
That is
thing.
nice.
Yeah.
Looks simple.
Just one thing. Nobody else had the name Beans of John. I lucked out. So
They weren't
I
creative
love
enough.
the name. It's so original.
Yeah.
Last question. Well, not even a question. I just want to see if you have any tips for aspiring artists who are listening right now. What would you recommend to someone who kind of wants to get in the art industry or just a creative in general?
I know we talked a lot about like kind of our frustrations with having to like keep up with like content and all this stuff, but it's also, as much as that is a curse, it's also a huge blessing. Like in my mind, when I was in school, I would have never imagined that I could have been able to reach people in this way on my own, like not having,
PR
people. Yeah,
team.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I mean, the tools are there, and I think I'm kind of a private person. I've never really liked sharing my artwork, and then one day I was just like, I'm just going to share it, and I'm just going to start doing that. And you can share your artwork. You don't have to share a ton about yourself. And if people respond to it, they'll respond to it. And it's you have the capability now to do it, which is a really cool and powerful tool, which didn't always exist for artists.
It's the best free tool and it seriously can change people's lives overnight.
Totally.
It's
amazing.
yeah, it changed our lives.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that is something like uplifting note. Like, yes, getting into creative fields is really hard. And yes, managing social media and now you're a content creator and an artist, it's hard, but it can change your life.
And I'm so like, I am so happy like that I get to make art and that people enjoy it. And every time I get a message that somebody says like, I love your art, it makes me smile, it makes me laugh. Like I'm gonna cry. I'm like, it just makes me feel like I'm very touched.
Yeah.
And I don't know, just
Yeah.
share your art with people. That's like my best advice. And
Mhm.
like, we need things to make us laugh and we need things to make us feel happy. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I mean, I feel like talking to you is just so inspiring because you use resources around you. Like you used your boyfriend's ponytail, like you can use a shell, not from the beach, but you can use shells and you can just use resources around you and also using the internet to market yourself. I feel like you're the best example for that. So
Aw,
thank you so
thanks.
much, Kelley.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks
Well,
for
if you
chatting
guys
with me.
want to find Kelley, you can find her
Yes.
on Beans of John on Instagram.
Beans of John.
and
Single John.
JOHN. Standard John spelling.
Yeah. And also beansofjohn.com. But thank you so much for having us.
Oh,
This has been amazing.
Of course. Thanks for coming.
And now we get to smell a starfish.
You get to smell a starfish.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Fun smells over here.
I cannot wait. Okay.
Thanks so much. This has been amazing.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
that was our hangout with Kelley. I've been waiting years to meet her, and it's finally happened, and she lived up to all of my dreams. What about you?
I mean, that was so interesting. I feel like being in her studio was such a different experience. I feel like that's the cool thing about this podcast. We're going to be in a lot of different environments that we've never really been in.
Yeah.
And her studio was just iconic.
It's not what I would have expected, and it's kind of the
At
cool
all.
aspect
I
about
love it.
everyone's creative space.
You never really know, like, who is behind the camera or
Yes.
even, like, behind the artwork. You know?
I never would have expected Kelley, like the Kelley we met, to be behind Beans of John.
Me
Because
neither. Me
I've been
neither.
following Beans of John for years, and
yeah,
like
and you had no idea what
she doesn't really post about herself. So
So you have no idea.
She just wasn't what I expected.
Me
I-
either. I don't know what I was expecting, but she was just the most genuinely sweet human being ever. And it's not that I was expecting something else. It was just, I don't know. She's
her
beautiful.
art isn't
and
necessarily
she has
sweet.
the prettiest eyes, and I'm like,
That's why she's obsessed with eyes, probably,
I
because
know,
her
because-
eyelashes are amazing.
no, her eyeballs are so pretty. She has like the prettiest blue eyes ever, and I'm like, dude, like,
It makes sense.
you know,
It makes sense.
yeah, I love, and her teeth.
Okay, we can stop obsessing over Kelley.
I'm
Let's
sorry.
talk more about us.
We get this question a lot, and people always ask where our clients come from. They all come from social media, honestly.
Yeah.
And I think that's the coolest thing about our job, but also the scariest thing, because like without social media, like we would have no clients.
What are we? We don't exist without it.
Oh my God, yeah.
Well, like we just talked about with Kelley, how social media can change people's lives. The way that we get our design projects is through social media. So that's the short answer, and we go into it further, like in depth, in our first episode. So
Yeah,
if you
so go
want to know
listen to
more
that.
about it, yeah, it's there. But we're gonna dive into some Q&As that you guys sent in. Here's our first Q&A question: were we working other jobs while doing this, while designing homes and starting this career for ourselves, or did we just end up doing it full force? 100%. I was working 2 full-time jobs when I started my TikTok. And Dani actually had to convince me to quit my jobs in order to start doing this full time. So that is fully Dani's credit. So I absolutely had other jobs that was supporting me, and I spent all my time
Yeah.
doing it. I worked in post-production, and I worked in motion graphics and video editing.
Yeah, which honestly is really funny because I was also in that industry. So that's kind of what we like bonded about when we met.
We had so much to bond over
yeah,
when we first
so
started
much.
talking.
We're very similar but very different. It's kind of cool.
It's beautiful. Yin and yang.
For me, I feel like it's kind of a blurred and foggy question because I just feel like I've been that type of person who is always doing something and it's always maybe different. As of lately, I feel like the past 3 years, it's been very consistent and I've been decorating and I've been doing social media. Before that, what was I doing? Everything, literally. Well, not everything anyone would imagine, but it was mostly creative things. I was editing, I was in the film industry. I was trying to be a director, but I was trying to be a cinematographer, but I was also social media managing other brands and companies.
So you were a Gen Z
I
finding
was
themselves.
Finding themselves and kind of like more of like an entrepreneur, I would say. I was juggling a lot before this, but I feel like as of 2 years ago, I am a full-time decorator and content creator. So yeah.
Content creators, so
Content
fancy.
creator.
We're going to be answering more of your Q&As. Just keep submitting them to accidentalexperts.com, and we will love reading through them.
If you enjoy this episode, we want to say thank you for joining and tuning in. And always remember, your support means the world to us. And if you give it a like, a share, a comment, a review, it helps us so much because we're a traveling podcast.
Yes.
So
Even actually, if it's a mean comment, it's still a comment. So
hate comment, there's no such thing
it's
as bad
still
publicity.
engaging. Yeah. Thank you to the crew. Like, this has been such a massive production. So thank you so much to the crew. Thank you to Digital Brand Architects and the team at Human Content. That has been our show, and we hope to
thank
see you
for
next
tuning
time.
in. Stay tuned for the next one.
Thank you so much for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments.
If you're enjoying Accidental Experts, click over there to watch more episodes and don't forget to subscribe to follow the journey.